Starting water for my kombucha, putting water on a induction stove top, because that's just what I chose because it makes it quicker. And soon I'm going to put in tea bags for each of those that I'm going to use today. I'm going to make 2 batches. I'm going to use 3 tea bags of black tea and 2 tea bags of green tea mixed, and that seems to be the best flavor for my taste. Green tea should be a pretty good quality green tea. I like to use Bigelow's green tea, and I'm just going to use a basic black tea. Lipton's is fine. I also like the Bigelow's black tea as well, or Earl Grey, something like that, without any special flavoring, just a good black tea. Once I put the tea bags in, I'll let it boil for approximately 7 minutes, and just to get all the good tea out of it, but not too long to make it bitter. And then I'll shut it down, pour it into a stainless steel pot to let cool for about an hour before I pour it in. And if you have a glass container would be fine, or stainless steel would be fine, just not another plastic container. Now that my tea is finished boiling, I'm going to place it into a container. You should use either glass or stainless steel, and I'm going to use stainless steel. Pour it in there just to cool off. Whew. I'm going to take out the tea bags. And as far as utensils, you should use a wooden spoon. As you can see, I'm making a concentrated tea. You can squeeze it out if you want to. And got all of them. And that's, for me, I'm just going to make one batch, which is approximately 1 gallon. And to this, when it cools off, I'm going to add some sugar, about 3/4 of a cup of sugar to add to this in just a little while, and let it all cool down. But I'll put the sugar in while it's hot so it'll dissolve easily. That's all for now. Now I'm going to add my 3/4 cup sugar to the tea that I made. Again, start with the wooden spoon. Try to get it all to dissolve. Since it's still hot, it should dissolve pretty quickly. And did I mention you should use some distilled water, or at least filtered water, in this process. You don't want the chlorine or all the other impurities that are in there, and so it's just good to have some kind of a good filter water. Doesn't have to be absolutely, because you're boiling it, but at the same time you're going to add some more water, so when you add the water to this, it needs to be a good filtered water. That should do it. After 10 days, my kombucha is ready, and I've used one of my wife's containers, which she made juice in, I think from Tang or something like that, and it just seemed to be a good size, an easy container, something easy to wrap the. I used some of my old handkerchiefs with a rubber band, so it seems to fit around it very easily. So That's why I tended to use that. So I have 2 sets here and 2 bottles that I'm going to use for the second fermentation. You could stop at the first one, but I like the flavor of the second one. So I'm going to get ready to uncover these and start pouring. Just simply take that off, and you'll see the fermentation that's on the top, and you'll smell it as well. You can smell the vinegary type thing, and you can see how this reaction has been going on for 10 days. And all of that SCOBY, which is all capital SCOBY, this SCOBY is just the thing that makes it work. It eats up all the sugars that we put in it, and we're going to do a second fermentation just for flavoring and add a little fizz. So that's what I'm going to do next. Again, remember to put these in a fairly warm place and a dark place, especially no direct sunlight or anything. So on top of a refrigerator, in a shelf, in a room that's not used very much. You don't want to shake. So usually a warm place is like the top or back part of the refrigerator usually is a little bit warmer than the rest, and I keep it covered with a dark cloth or a dark t-shirt to keep the sunlight from getting on it. And that's the best thing to do. So at this time, you're ready to go. I'm going to pour using a tea strainer. You can use any kind that you wish. Something preferably stainless steel. You want to leave a good amount left in there, and you want some leftover to start your next batch. I'm just going to leave it in there instead of taking it out this time. I'm going to use the same container. It's already got the starter for the next time. There's no need to really rinse it out because you're going to ferment the same thing again. So that's what I'm going to use. You can see my bottle is not quite full. I'm going to leave a little room for it to again ferment and release the gases. So at this time, I'm going to take some, I like to flavor blueberry. You can use any kind of berries, you can use bananas, coconut. I just really prefer this blueberry. I take about a teaspoon, and it's probably more than I really need. But it has flavor and sugar. The sugar is necessary because, again, it feeds on the sugar. So that'll remain at the bottom. This blueberry I just got from a local person who does jams and jellies, and this one is what I decided to use. You could use actually the real thing, the raspberry, the blueberry, probably would be better, but I don't have any. Okay, and then you're ready to just seal it up. And set it aside somewhere in a relatively warm, dark place for another 2 to 3 days. And it will eat on the sugars, and it will give it an extra flavor, give it a little bit of fizz as well, carbonation. And so after 2 or 3 days, I'll take it out, pour into smaller containers, put that in the refrigerator to stop it from fermenting, and be ready to drink. Actually, you could drink it now, but I just like the extra flavor. So this is my second fermentation. I have enough to do another container here, as you can see, and start all over again. And I have my tea already made. So I'm ready to pour it in here, start it all over again, but be sure don't pour hot tea into this. Make sure it's cooled off completely, pretty much to room temperature, so it doesn't kill the SCOBY. The SCOBYs are important. This is only my third time doing this, so my first SCOBY actually made enough for a second SCOBY, and after a while I could take from this SCOBY and peel off another SCOBY from that to start another one. So at this time, that's all I need to do for the next 2 or 3 days, and then I'll pour out of this into my next containers, which will be small. I'm going to use small jars. Okay, this is my second fermentation. It's been 3 days since I last poured it into here for my first fermentation, and at that time I had put some blueberry jelly in with this one so it would give the flavor of the blueberries. And you could use any kind of fruit or berries, candy even, something with sugar to do that. Okay, I'm just going to use these to pour in. You still won't need to strain it out. There still may be some things that you need to strain out from the second fermentation. And it actually tries to form a little SCOBY itself, and that comes from just the fermentation process. I can use the plastic. I just prefer to use something to seal it a little bit better, and to make sure there's no metal in contact, I use these lids that have the coating on them, and then makes it easier to pull on and off. Once I put it in the refrigerator, then this will stop its fermentation. And that's my final product. Probably should use them up within a couple of weeks. Of course, everything here has been cleaned, washed. Some things have gone through the dishwasher. I've used this already several times. But as you can see, it's easy to do. And these bottles actually make it easy to pour. They seem to be just right for the amount that I make out of the 2 batches that I make, and then pour into this, and then it seems to be, for me at least, a perfect thing to use, more convenient to pour and save. But anyway, as you can see, I got 3 out of this. I'll probably get 3 more jars, which will make, out of the 2 batches, I'll probably end up with 12, which will last me for almost 2 weeks. And then I've already got another batch started, and then I'll just do this over again. So about 7 to 10 days for the first fermentation, about 3 days for the second fermentation to get the flavor in, and then you're ready to pour, put it in the refrigerator, and you're ready to go. And that's the cycle. So enjoy.